Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk. We have some breaking news in regards to Jason Wilcox potentially leaving Southampton to join Manchester United. But before we get into that, what I wanted to do, or what the original show was planned for today, was, after that depressing defeat to Brentford, I want to try and pump some positivity into the minds of Manchester United fans. We're going to take a look back at this season's best moments and rank them together as a community. I said rank, not the other word. Get your mind out the gutter. So please do get in the comment section. Let me know your personal favourite, because in fairness, it has been a pretty shit season, but there has still been some sparkling moments that I definitely wanted to discuss. A big giveaway there that's on your screen in front of you. But like I said, before we get into that, we have a significant update on Jason Wilcox, which is I think it's interesting. So the main headline that they've gone with here, and this is mainly coming out from Sky Sports, but other people are just starting to report on it as well, is that Jason Wilcox will resign from his duties at Southampton and is set to join Manchester United as the club's new technical director. Now, that in itself is quite a strong, bold statement, because there are in-betweens with this, and you'll see it as I go through the kind of different tweets from different journalists. Someone, Simon Peach, who I believe is a Southampton fan, or I'm pretty sure is, and a very credible journalist at that, has said Jason Wilcox will need to serve a notice period of 12 months before joining Manchester United. So there could be a bit of back and forth here, and it could be a bit tricky, similar to kind of the Dan Ashworth situation, which isn't what we want to hear, but again, I'll dive into that shortly as well. Just briefly, for anyone who doesn't know Wilcox or heard of him or don't know what he does or anything like that, just genuinely doesn't have a clue. He was the director of football at Southampton. Now, I'm using was because that's, with faith that he's going to leave and join us. So he's currently, let's just say, the director of football at Southampton. He's recently been targeted by United to be this kind of a major part of this new project under Ineos. We, of course, already have Omar Barada, who has previously worked with him at City. So there's already a strong relationship there and a connection between Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox. He was the academy director. I think he was a coach initially and then pushed up to being an academy director, something along the lines of that. And then, behind the scenes, I don't know what Barada's been doing. I can only speculate, really, but he's obviously wants a strong intention to bring him over and wants this, the former Blackburn winger to join Old Trafford as this big project. Now, coming out from Sky Sports News, like I said, United, they've stated that United have approached Southampton about hiring Wilcox and offered an amount equivalent to a year of his salary to take him. So they're willing to pay it out in that sense. Then it was further reported that this offer was not enough. And then Southampton denied that the offer meets a buyout clause in his contract, something that United are now disputing. They instead value Wilcox at substantially more in compensation. And then the story goes on after that, saying since then, and I had to get each bit of information because I had to clarify exactly what's going on here. So since then, it's been reported by the one and only Fabrizio Romano that Wilcox has resigned from Southampton and is set to join United as their new technical director. Fabrizio also reported the point as well that I've just made about, Southampton refused to accept a fee from United, so Wilcox decided to resign since he wanted to join the United project under Ineos. So there's a bit of mixture of reports coming in. I'm not entirely sure who's bang on because, yeah, there's a difference. But look, the main point is we're pushing through for these kind of appointments now. Me and the lads on the channel always joke about it being, Avengers assembling and all this kind of, but in a sense it is really, because you're kind of cherry picking each position for the benefit of the club, for the benefit of the future, and you want specifics in there. You want your guy in there. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to just go get a random person. Like if needs be, there's going to be a bit of pushback with each one. And that's why it's such a similar comparison to what's going on with Dan Ashworth at the minute with Newcastle, because they obviously don't want him to leave. It's inevitable anyway because he's on gardening leave, but they don't want to make it easy. They're asking for figures around 20 million. We're hearing, 15, 20 million, which is like a transfer fee for a player, which is, it's mad, isn't it? It's almost becoming like, because the transfer window was so like dead because of FFP and people are scared of getting points deducted and all this kind of nonsense. It's almost become like a transfer window for sporting directors, isn't it? Like, we're paying fees off and they're on leave and they're, not refusing to sign a contract or whatever, whatever you want to say it. And obviously Southampton are also pissed off. They're saying that they've got, all this distraction. They've got 8 games left to push for promotion. And they've got all this nonsense going on in the background. United trying to grab him. He's slightly distracted. But in reality, how much effect is it really going to have with 8 games? Like, I don't think it's... I think they're being a bit dramatic, to be honest with you. And I think Muppeteer said a similar thing before. Just quickly on Wilcox as well, from what I've read and from what I know he was pivotal in bringing through players like, I think, Rico Lewis, Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, Oscar Bob, all these kind of geezers as the academy director. And he was at City for Manchester. He was at Manchester City for 11 years. Excuse me if I've had any sleep, so if I'm slurring my words or anything, just ignore me. I'm not having a stroke or anything. I'm just, very, very tired. But, like I said, the troops are being assembled. We've got a bit of pushback at the moment, but you need to do everything you can required to get that exact personnel through the door. If you have a pathway and a certain route you want to take, and Dave Brailsford, and everyone's singing from the same hymn sheet, Jean-Claude Blanc, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Dave Brailsford, now Omar Barada, like, they need that connection throughout the whole kind of, when we look at them kind of stems of what's going on, I don't know what they're called. You see the graph, and you see, like, director of football, What are them graphs called? You all know what I mean anyway. I'm talking nonsense. But you'll see that start to stem now throughout the full club, the whole structure and the infrastructure. So it's nice to see. It's obviously not a done deal yet or anything, but there's a bit of push there. The other thing as well I wanted to discuss, apparently United are also thought to be looking to add someone in a role that is likely to oversee player pathways throughout the Ineos group, which obviously includes clubs like Nice in France and Lausanne in Switzerland. So, a couple of the young talents we're looking at in the moment, Todibo being the obvious one, that doesn't just automatically say, oh, well, we're definitely going to sign Todibo now because we're doing this. It's more as like a feeder club, I would imagine, where, we can send players off on loan. If there's any young talents coming through Nice and they're ready to take the step up, then they can do that. And vice versa with the other club, Lausanne, they can go from there to Nice. And then, do you know what I'm saying? So there's I think City do it with like Girona, not Girona. Who did he own? Did he own Girona? I feel like they own Girona, but they have a couple of clubs around the world where they send players off, and sometimes they'll bring talents in from over there. I'm pretty sure. So that looks promising. Again, none of it is concrete news. None of it is for sure yet, but the cogs are in motion, and we'll just have to see how this one develops over the next kind of couple of weeks, months, days maybe, and we'll see what happens. Charlie Mormon's in the chat saying good news about Wilcox, but at the same time there is some bad news. Ashworth won't join the club until sometime after the summer. Wilcox will arrive about the same time as Omar. That's the thing, innit? I think we're going to have to take a hit this year, because you already have to start talking to players and players' agents and putting things in motion for the summer now. Like, clubs are already starting to do that. So we have an issue where we've got a bit of pushback here. Could take a couple of months, but by next year, which is what a lot of people won't want to hear, and likewise myself, I'm impatient. We need to get this fucking shit moving. Do you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Like, if clubs are getting pushed back, why would you go pay 20 million? I know Dan Ashworth in particular is going to be worth it because his reputation is extremely high, and I understand it. But 20 million quid is a lot. It is a lot. So I don't know, maybe there'll be a bit of wiggle room there, but it seems like Newcastle are being a bit stubborn anyway. I wish I could get positive, but we had 3 of the worst games in 10 years in 2024. Guess the only thing positive would be a win over Liverpool. We've already done that though in the FA Cup. Don't forget that. We might be a little memory of that towards the end of the show. Shreyas is in the chat. Big up Shreyas saying, haven't really heard his name. He's worked under Barada at City. Well, hopefully I've cleared that up then in the points that I was making. Wilcox was head of the academy at City. Yep, that's the one. UTFR says, quality left winger. Is he available to play? The way our players are at the minute, UTFR, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, to be honest with you. Wilcox joined United in 3 months. I wish Ashworth did the same, but he'd give up loads of money. It's not 3 months, actually a year until Wilcox joins the club. That's what I'm saying. It's all over the gaff at the minute. No one really knows. There's multiple different reports. I have no idea. But there will be updates on this, I imagine, more and more over the next couple of days. So we'll get more clarity on that. And, of course, we'll go live. So make sure you turn on that notification bell, smash a like on the video. And also, just share to a friend. Let them know about it if you'd like football content. They need something to listen to whilst they're on the way to work, whilst they're in the bath. Whatever it is they're doing, make sure to check out Real Reds Talk. Now, the main show, what I had planned initially, which you can see on your screen here, on your right-hand side, the best moments so far this season. Because, I dropped the pros and cons yesterday. The numbers didn't do well, and I probably imagine they didn't do well because they're so stressed and upset with the way that Brentford game went, to struggle all the way to the end and then nick it, and then still manage to draw it is like a double down, innit? So I did the pros and cons of Brentford. The people probably say, fucking hell, I just can't watch it anymore. I can't listen. I'm just tired of United, and we all are. So I completely understand that. So my mindset going into this show was, let's discuss the best moments so far this season. That should pump a bit of positivity into the fan base, a bit of positivity into our community, and a bit of positivity into your day, hopefully. That was my kind of thought process going into this. So, coming in at number 6, and these were quite hard to rank, actually, so let me know if you disagree with the ranking and the order of things. I think I've done it, in my opinion, obviously, I think I've done it right, but again, if you would kind of switch a couple of things out, do let me know. The first one, number 6, Onana redemption arc, and kind of Maguire redemption arc at the same time as well. So, with Harry Maguire, we obviously know as United fans, and I've been critical of it myself, almost not getting personal, but over criticizing him to a point where, you know, when emotion gets the best of you after a game, and you don't slag him off, but you go a little bit too far sometimes, let's just say, especially if you're in the stadium or whatever. But Maguire has taken the brunt of it, and it probably out of any player in the Premier League, I'm pretty sure statistically as well, he was like the most abused player by far on social media, like numbers wise. So he'd taken a lot of shit over the past couple of years. This season, he seems to have got back to his best. I think taking the captain's armband off him has definitely released some form of pressure, so he can just crack on with his game without having to worry about the exterior things. Bruno's kind of taking on that now, and now he's performing a little bit low. So maybe it is the weight of the armband. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure he scored a goal in there. Was it a header or something like that? You know, he was like screaming towards the end. It was like a release almost of all this shit you've been going through for the past couple of years. The stuff was he in Greece or something? Was still an ongoing kind of court case, whatever it is. It was like a huge moment for him. So I was absolutely buzzing, and the goal kind of eclipsed all of that as a milestone to kind of say, you know, he's back to his best, or almost, you know, he's at a decent level, let's just say, for example, and he's maintaining that level, because I think whenever he's come in, he's done a pretty good job. Again, I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but for me personally, I believe he has. Equally, for Andre Onana, he had a very tough start to life at United. Went from the best goalkeeper in the Champions League to the worst goalkeeper in the Champions League. And you talk about the weight of the armband. What about the weight of a goalkeeper's jersey at Manchester United? Because that can really, really destroy a player's confidence. So he had a very tough start, made countless mistakes, which effectively kicked us out of the Champions League, didn't it? And then he had that moment against Copenhagen where he saved the penalty. You know, we're sat there saying, oh God, are we going to end up drawing this again towards the end in the last minute with everything that's already happened this season? And then he pulls off a really, really good save. Confidence is massive in that moment for him, and I don't know if that was necessarily the turning point, because I still think there was a couple of games after that where he you know, it was a few dodgy saves, or like he let in a couple of goals, but it was certainly a confidence booster for him. And I just thought, yeah, I thought that was one of the best moments, and that's why it goes at number 6. It wasn't close to being the best, but it's certainly up there. So what's next? Here it is. Man like Rasmus, the Villa comeback, I think we all remember. Was it December? Towards the end of December? Do you remember the end of December when we brought it back against Villa? That was all right, that. We conceded 2 easy goals, don't we, to set pieces. I think John McGinn was on one of them. Can't remember the other one. Just, again, Old Trafford, capitulation in the first half. You're fucking scratching your head and you're going, how has this happened again? Why are we still repeating the same errors every single game? And then we had a second half resurgence. Garnacho being pivotal in that research. He was really, really good in that game. Scored a brace, got the crowd up, flying. And then it was teed up then and set up for the cherry on top, where Rasmus Højlund scores his first goal for the club in the Premier League, I believe it was. And it was one of the best second half performances of the season. I don't think Villa were fully at it, but to think we've beaten Villa twice this season is mad, isn't it? It's absolutely mad, because we've been terrible against other teams. The Fulham defeat, the Brentford draw the other day, a couple of them this season, you've just been like, what is going on? And no idea, because you see the teams more than capable at times, and then they just like completely fall apart. So I remember that feeling in the second half. I remember winning the game, and I can't imagine how it was for the players, because I remember watching Rasmus and Garnacho doing an interview with Ian Irvin from Talk of the Devils, and they were just like so happy and so relieved and so like. And that's when we started discussing, like, these youngsters that we've got now, if you get the right players around them, they can really grow and elevate to the next level. And, yeah, mega performance that. We thought that could be a turning point. I mean, how many times have we said that after a game? Is this the turning point for Manchester United? And then we go and lose to Nottingham Forest. And you're like, start the season, we win, or we don't lose in 7 or 8 games, I think it is. You lose to Fulham. You draw to Brentford. Like, up and down like a fucking seesaw, mate. So, yeah, it was still a nice moment, though. What's next? Boy, oh boy. What a goal this was. Mainoo late winner against Wolves in a really good game, to be fair. One of the games of the season at Molineux where notoriously Man United find it very, very tough to play there. We have struggled there a lot of times under previous coaches. Wolves get a penalty. So we go 2-0 up in the first half, I think it is. Pretty early goals. I think one was in the 7th and one was in the 25th. Rasmus and Rashford. And then for the majority of the game, we're okay. There's a couple of chances Wolves have. And then the game just switches on its head in the 71st minute. They get a penalty. I think Sarabia converts it. Not to worry. McTominay scores in the 75th. You're like, right, sweet, buzzing. 3-1. Game done and dusted. That was at the 75th minute. Within 15 minutes of the game, you think, it's pretty much dead if you've got a 2-goal advantage. Never with Manchester United. I think we've all learned so far that we are never, ever safe in the game. Doesn't matter how many goals we go up. We can always completely capitulate. And this is what happened. Within 10 minutes, Wolves scored 2. And then I think the second one was in the 95th minute, which had been happening all season. You think it's going to end up in a draw where we just threw a game away, United fans completely unhappy. And then I think it was the 97th minute, Kobbie Mainoo steps up. Forson does really well. I don't think he gets credited enough. Holds the players off well. Picks out Kobbie Mainoo. I mean, it's class and assist, but I mean, it's all Kobbie Mainoo. He's got 3 players in front of him. Dribbles past all 3 of them like Messi. You all remember the goal. I'm not telling you because you don't remember it, but I'm just going through it in my head. Past 2 or 3 players, little drop of the shoulder onto his right foot, finesse in the bottom corner, and then his celebration. This kid is 18 years old, and this was like the coming of Kobbie Mainoo, wasn't it? It was like his arrival, like he just turned up and he's like, bosh, mate, let's go. Bottom corner, bottom right, just hits it, wins the game for Manchester United, and he just announced himself with such an impressive goal. And then again, I'm not saying that was a turning point for him, because I think he could have been significant from the start of the season, but obviously he picked up that injury. But since that goal, he's just gone leaps and bounds, made his England debut. Nearly 20 appearances for Manchester United now, and he's one of our best players, to be honest with you. I think if he would have been playing from the start of the season, he'd be in with a shout for player of the season. I think it's probably Dalot just edging it at the minute, but Kobbie's definitely in the conversation for sure. So, yeah, big up Kobbie Mainoo, man. Been one of the bright sparks of this season. Positivity, this is what I'm telling you. Now, before I get to the next one, I'll read a couple of comments out. Let's have a look. Sam saying the new stream thing looks clean. I would say thank you very much, but I suppose that goes towards you, Sam. Shreyas saying, hoping this doesn't affect our transfer business in this coming window. It's bound to. I mean, like I said, they probably already have someone in mind, I'm guessing. And they're probably already working on a couple of deals, your Branthwaites, your Tadibos, and these kind of things, your Frimpongs. But, it's all speculation. Who knows, right? Dan Errington, best moments, Kobbie Mainoo. That's about it, I think. Well, we are on that one right now, aren't we, discussing it? So, yep, you got that one right. Liam Jones, I'm clearly not smart, but surely you can leave a job due to UK law. It's simply a case of not being able to pay the wage of the contract. That's what I'm saying. I don't get the specifics. Surely you could just resign and say, right, I'm joining Man United. But contract, you'd have to see the full contract, wouldn't you, and what's in there. And, if he has to sit out for a certain amount of time. Obviously, it's very different to kind of transfers with players, I'm guessing. So, I don't know. I don't know how they work. I'd love to speak to someone about this, to be honest with you. Excuse me. Football is a strange sport, but yeah, if you resign your job, you're normally out for 3 months. Liam says, I work in accounting. Should I leave my job contracted to? I am afforded the opportunity to work for another company, and due to my skills, able to gain visa access to several other countries due to SK. It should be a simple process, really. It should be a simple process, but one, United never make anything simple, and whoever it is, the club that we're going for and getting it off, they're certainly going to make it difficult for us as well. Like I said, there's going to be pushback with this. Southampton are chasing promotion. They've got 8 games left. The last thing they want is, in their opinion, to be distracted by all this nonsense that Ineos are coming in. And with Newcastle as well, they've had an injury hit season. They've completely dropped off. Talk about the manager falling out with Dan Ashworth. Dan Ashworth saying he wants to leave and go to Manchester United. So there's loads of shit kicking off, isn't there? Loads. Anyway, let's go back to the best moments. So, number 4 was Kobbie Mainoo. What do we think is coming in at number 5? Number 3, sorry. I'm going the opposite way there. It's Scotty too hot. Now, to be honest, on reflection, I think the Mainoo one should have been above this. But having given the circumstances, and, you know, I think if you look just before the international break, well, we was just about to go on the international break. We had just lost to Crystal Palace. We had just lost to Galatasaray. And there was actually a lot of pressure on Erik ten Hag. Because if he would have got into that break with another loss to Brentford at Old Trafford, that would have been huge. Absolutely huge. So McTominay's absolutely saved his bacon there. You had Casemiro and Onana who made massive, massive mistakes during the game, giving it away in midfield, and then Onana with just the weirdest, unorthodox save ever. So Brentford end up scoring. We push and we push. Can't carve out any clear chances. The 87th minute arrives. We call on Scott McTominay, who hadn't scored at this point, by the way, obviously up until this game. And then he goes Super Saiyan and scores 2 last-minute winners to nick the 3 points against Brentford, which was like a magical moment. Crowd was going absolutely mental at Old Trafford. And even still now, he's our joint top scorer, I think, in the Premier League with 7 goals. The majority of them coming from the bench, which then leads to conversation about, do we want to keep him as a player? Do you want to keep him as a super sub? If we got offered money for him now, would you take it? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll dive into them very, very shortly. We're going to go on to number 2. And you should know where I'm getting up to now. You all should know what number 1 is, if you know me. But number 2, let's go. The boy. What a goal. What a goal. A piece of technique that will be on highlight reels on Premier League classics for years. It will genuinely go down as one of the goals of the decade. Completely unexpected, as these moments usually are. We're 3 minutes into the game. Dalot picks it up on the right-hand side. Even Neville's blasé and he's commentating. He's like, Dalot puts a great cross into the box. Oh! Like, everyone's like, what on earth has just happened? Like, the technique, the execution was unbelievable. And I know instantly people were drawing comparisons with Wayne Rooney. Completely understand it. Rooney's was against, Manchester City, where they could have started challenging for a title. We put that to bed. So the circumstances in the Manchester derby, it's obviously more significant. But when you're talking about pure, clean technique and execution, Garnacho's was better than Rooney. It's not even a conversation. The cross was almost going more towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Like Gareth Bale's, when Marcelo crosses it in and it's coming away from him, or I think it's Ronaldo's as well in it for Juventus when he scores in Champions League. Going away from him, the connection, honestly, is spot on. And Garnacho is the type of kid who has the bollocks to try that kind of acrobatic effort and to do it at Goodison Park as well. Insane. As a pure goal, you don't really get much better than that. And a mega memory to remember. This is what I'm saying. Like, I know it's been dreadful this season. It has been one of the worst ones because I could easily do one of these where it says the worst moments and I could create 20 like that. Honestly, 20 like that easily. But I'm trying to get the best out of this, you know what I mean? The best of a bad situation, let's just say. So Garnacho goes in at number 2 with his overhead kick. Let's go next. What are we cooking? Obviously, it's this one. Come on, boys. Come on, lads. Ahmad sends Liverpool packing. I mean, I've spoken about this moment so much. I've really, saturated this conversation so much. But I don't care because I'm going to talk about it even more. When I say this was perfect, I mean this was perfect. To witness it in the stadium, first and foremost, the crazy, amazing game, back and forth, the emotion involved, the fact that we went down twice and then still won the game, the fact we knocked our rivals out of the FA Cup in a significant competition, and the fact that the late winner was Amad Diallo, a player I've been pushing to get minutes for a long, long time, a player I'm a huge fan of and believe in a lot. And he gets that moment coming on and scoring, and then he gets a red card and gets sent off a booking. Like, that has to be the moment of the season. It eclipses everything. The other things that I've spoken about were amazing, but that is one timeless classic. One of the best FA Cup ties ever. And that's not even an overstatement. So to witness it in person, I've never seen Old Trafford like it in my life. It was incredible. And for all that to happen in one game whilst you're there is like a 1 in a million opportunity, and it's something I will genuinely remember for the rest of my life. Likewise with my girlfriend, who I went with as well, and she was like, she couldn't believe it. She was just looking. I remember I was screaming when Diallo scored, and I was looking around the stadium, and you're in this kind of mental state where you're just like almost in like not an epiphany, but like it just at awe with everything that's ongoing. And I looked to me right, and even my girlfriend's like, "Wow, this is insane!" Like it was just complete jubilation. Everyone was going mental. And yeah, loved that moment. That was definitely the best moment of the season so far for me personally. But let me know yours in the comment section. Have I got it wrong with the order? Is there anything else you can remember that you would put in there? Maybe there's something I've missed. Get it in the comment section, man. I'm going to read out a couple of comments. All right, now. Williams Ipswich at the top of the championship. Yeah, there's been a couple of games there today, haven't there? How have they gone on? Let me have a look at that whilst you all get your moments in. Championship. I know Leicester went one down, didn't they? And then they came back. But Kieran McKenna with Ipswich is cooking, man. I mean, weren't Leicester City like 17 points ahead at one point? Mad. Absolutely mad. Ipswich are top. 40 games played, 87 points. Leicester City, 85 points. Leeds United, boo, 83 points. And then Southampton, who we was just talking about, on 74 points with 38 games played. So they're still in the race, likewise with West Brom as well. I'll tell you what, the Championship has been a very interesting league this season. I think the Championship and the Premier League, it shows why they're the best leagues in Europe, doesn't it? It really, really does. Not in terms of, obviously, the Championship, quality-wise, you know, La Liga and other leagues are better. But I'm talking, like, in terms of pure competition and what you're watching, it's night and day, innit? Like, the competitiveness, the performances, like everything about English football, and it's not even being biased, it's just right up there, and it's the reason why it is the cream of the crop, legit. So yeah, there's some. I think the end to the Premier League is going to be interesting. You got a 3-horse race there. I don't think we're going to get Europe. I think we're completely out of that. So I think Spurs and Aston Villa are obviously going to tip that. And then you have relegation as well. Like, no idea. Sheffield probably going to go down. But then it's going to be a scrap near the bottom. Championship's going to be a scrap near the top. Yeah, I think it's exciting, man, isn't it? It's exciting. I love Premier League football. I love Championship football. I just love football in general. I love talking about this with you people. I love doing this channel. Sometimes, if I'm going to be completely honest with people, and this isn't like a cry for me moment or whatever it is, well, recently I've been struggling quite a lot with like other exterior things. But when football's on, and when I know I've got a game to look forward, I know it's like, this sounds really sad, doesn't it? But when I've got a game to look forward to and just distract my mind or even when I'm working on like shows like this and I'm editing and I'm doing, it's actually a getaway. Like, I would happily sit here for hours doing research, checking up facts, doing this, whatever, da-da-da. Like, I love it, genuinely. And I love doing this. I love interacting. I love the comment section. So, yeah, thank you, first and foremost, to you guys as well. Liam saying, no one being stupid, the stipulations in football contracts, I would imagine, have many more stipulations and circumstant UK law, case in point, the Bosman ruling. Like I said, I'm stupid. I have no idea what that means, Liam, but thank you for your comment. Can Southampton afford to keep Wilcox on a payroll for a year if they do not get a promotion? I mean, that's an interesting one. George Tomlinson says Championship is considered the hardest in the world, I'm sure. I mean, it's definitely one of the most competitive, innit? For sure. This season has been some amazing games in there. It really, really has. And I have to admit it, I'm not one really to... I don't watch... I never used to watch it a lot. But this season, it's been really, really good. Even like tactically, competition-wise, you know, individual players who've done really, really well there. It's been good, man. It's been good. It's a good product of British football. It really, really is. And again, we're almost lucky to be... Not lucky to be born in this country because there's a lot of things wrong with this country, but in general, if you're looking for football, sport, you know, England is one of the countries that's at the forefront of it. We really are. You look at boxing, heavyweight champion. Well, it's Usyk now, isn't it, actually? I don't know. I don't follow boxing too closely, but Fury's obviously a massive, major name. Anthony Joshua's obviously a major name. Even go over to UFC now, we've got Leon Edwards as a champion. We've got Tom Aspinall, who's from Salford as well, like round the corner from me, basically, who's like a heavyweight champion or light heavyweight champion, I can't remember. You know, we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well, England, in sports in general. So, yeah, it's nice to be a part of it, and it's nice to watch it, let's just say. 46 games in the Championship, that is a lot of games to play. I know that's why it's so hard, man. A lot of teams, a lot of points up for grabs, sorry. I think the competition should be better next year simply because I think the teams that came up, Sheffield have been shit, aren't they? They are still champions. I don't even think Sheffield genuinely would get promoted this season if they was in that league. They've been dog shit, terrible. And likewise with a lot of the teams near the bottom, they haven't been great at all. So I think when these fresh teams come up, Leicester, I'm guessing it's going to be Ipswich. I'm not sure, still a little bit of an unknown, but I think McKenna's doing a fabulous job there. And the other teams that come up, we have to wait and see what happens with the playoffs, I suppose. But it is fascinating. It is fascinating. Of course, we've got games coming up. Is there any Monday night football today? Let me have a look. I'm guessing not, because I haven't seen it advertised anywhere. No, but we've got fixtures on Tuesday. I know United play Chelsea away, which we'll have the preview for tomorrow, so make sure you guys come and check that out. Yeah, me and the lads will be live for that, discussing it. No idea what's going to happen in that at all. It's going to be such a weird game because Chelsea are in shit form. We're in shit form. You never know what we're going to get. We are quite literally both Forest Gump teams. Newcastle and Everton are on tomorrow night. You've got Forest and Fulham, Bournemouth and Palace, a couple of relegation scraps there. Burnley and Wolves, West Ham and Spurs. Hopefully Spurs can drop some points there. Arsenal and Luton, Arsenal and Emirates, Brentford and Brighton, City and Aston Villa. That'd be an interesting game. Liverpool are going to absolutely slap Sheffield about 6-0. And then you've got Chelsea and United as well, which is a late kickoff again. 8:15, man. It's like they don't want us to sleep. 8:15 on Thursday, which we'll have. You know what? I might even do a watch long for that game. I haven't done a watch long in so long. I may do. If enough people want to join and watch and whatever, I might do a watch long for that game, even though it's a late one. But yeah, we'll be live pre-match and post-match for that as well. We also dropped a couple of videos on the channel. You know, if you guys have missed the After Dark, if you've missed a striker search, if you've missed, Premier League signings, anything like that, we've got loads of content out on the channels. We've got loads of shorts. If you want to check us out on socials, they're all there at the top, free. Real Reds Talk, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. So yeah, if you can, please do make sure you hit that subscribe button, share to a friend, smash a like on the video, and thank you very much. Genuinely, thank you very much to everyone tuning in and listening to the stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the preview. Make sure you don't miss it.